Welcome to Santa Pod. This is round 5 of the front wheel drive drag series, and it's the God of the Pod event. And the one thing you have to know right from the get-go is the wind here. It's a horrendous headwind. Well, it's good to see Andy Nichols back out, and in addition to our established drivers, we've got a few new faces competing for the first time. And with the recent performances we've seen in front-wheel drive drag racing, it's going to take at least a mid-9 second run to win this event. Still without her new race car is Amy Bradley.
Well, it was all running fine and I managed to do an 11.3. I wanted a little bit more power, so we ended up buying some Q16 race fuel. Had it on the dyno last night, and unfortunately my injectors have all clogged up. There's been a recall on them, so yeah, my car's not going to be here again. So you're back with your old car, and by the look of it, you're still on street tyres. Yeah, because I didn't bother bringing my slicks because I thought the EG was going to be definitely done today, so I'm just in two minds what to do at the minute.
So it should be pretty good, but we found a few problems with my car. We've been running with a turbo that's had a melted exhaust wheel, and we've been running with it all season like this after we've finally found out. But so we're not doing too bad, seeing as though it is, but we're still running like this today because we only found out on Monday. We didn't have time to get a new exhaust wheel fitted to the car and remap, so we're just going to see how it goes and try and get one for the next.
So as Keel's team fit the race slicks, there's the brand new car of Chris Sutton. And a welcome return to drag racing for Guy Chamberlain, the current UK front wheel drive record holder.
We thought we'd let the youngsters come and beat up on us for a weekend and have a bit of fun, but predominantly we're just testing ready for next year. So it's really nice to see a few of the youngsters coming through. Some of them are coming on pretty quickly as well, you know.
Well, we're into our first qualifying session. Richard Batty does his stout burnout alongside young Nathan, I think it is, at the wheel this weekend in the Corsair Engineering Saab-powered Corsa. We have to point out the insanely strong winds causing our camera people problems, let alone the drivers out on track. Oh, big moment there for the little Corsa, and another one there for Richard Batty, but he's on a flyer. Wow, what an amazing run. Smashed the record. Incredible 9:43 to take the record from Guy Chamberlain. The bigger event by a very good friend of mine. We've been working together for years. Guy Chamberlain, first time out on track in quite a long time in competition proper, and one of the old hands of front wheel drive drag racing. In fact, one of the very first people to go super quick in a front wheel drive car many years ago. It's Andy Nichols, and it looks like this is going to be a good first pass for Andy's car. Well, not a bad checkout pass at all. Matthew Simonite in the grey Civic alongside his teammate Keel Priestman, the 9-second wonder who's won every round he's entered so far, and in his last 16 or 17 runs in competition, the vast majority of those have been 9-second passes. How are they all coping with this headwind? Well, rather well, because there's Keel back in the 9s. There's Amy Bradley then. She would hope to have had her slicks on board. Ooh, you can hear the car really struggling there. Poor old Amy's had no luck at all with her brand new car. Still, she's safely qualified. She can work out what to do tactically later. We caught up with the new record holder, Richard Batty, up in the pits.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? We just run a 9:43 at 165 mile an hour. Guy's record was 9:45, so yeah, we knocked a couple of hundreds off it. First run off the trailer, well happy with that. Yeah, we do seem to always do the first run, seems to be the best of the day, and we tend to sort of go downhill from there. So yeah, we do. I don't know whether it's conditions, track conditions or what, but yeah, the first run is generally the best of the day. Oh yeah, we're putting in a lot of boost at the top end. We've still got to try and get this short track sorted, try and get a lot more boost in early down through the gears, and see what we can do.
Yeah, we run a bit lean at the last round, at round 2, and we cracked the cylinder head. So I've had to redo a brand new cylinder head, which just took a bit of time and machining work and messing about. We finally got the bolts from America about 10 days ago, and it was back to the dyno and it looked promising, so we're just trying to get back to where we was at the end of that round, really. To be honest, it was perfect. I just couldn't get off the line very well, but going down the track it was absolutely superb, yeah. So now I can just tweak it a little bit, try and get the thing moving quicker at the start, then we should hopefully get back into the 10s.
Well, yet another broken half shaft for Team Corsab Engineering.
Yeah, it seems to be a common thing now. Just can't seem to get one that's strong enough to hold up for the job.
Well, it looks like they really do need something a little stronger.
Yeah, hopefully we get some over the winter ready for next season, but have to wait and see.
On to our second of 3 planned qualifiers then. Yassir Dar is a name that's been floating around the front-wheel drive drag scene for many, many years, but he's had so many problems. I think this is one of the first times we've seen him out in full competition, and his little Civic is showing great promise. Well, the weather, the rain's holding off, but that wind shows no sign of abating. So in testing, Yassir's been deep into the 10s. And we would fully expect to see Guy Chamberlain into the mid-9s, but it looks like issues on this run for him. You see Adar though on a flyer at the top end, runs through with a 10.18. That could well be a personal best. Andy Nichols then, plagued with problems a couple of seasons ago with his gearboxes. And he's got a dog box in there now just to make those gear changes a lot easier. Looks like another problem for the team Corsab Engineering. Andy Nichols a bit more aggressive on the start line than he has been. He must have more confidence in that gearbox. Everything looking good for him. Still not on full power boost, and we can see the exhaust quite rich there, so nowhere near full power. Runs through with an 11.20. Well, that is unusual. Problems from Matthew Simonite, but here's the new boy, Chris Sutton then, in his Civic. Wow, that thing's moving pretty fast. It's a fairly new car. Looks like he's just letting off at the top end just to check out pass for him, safely qualified there. So Key will be happy to be back in the 9s with that run from the first qualifying session. Is he going to step up on the power a little more this time? Usual crisp gear changes, nice start line technique. And runs through nicely with a 9.80. Well, here's the man to watch then, already the brand new UK record holder. What more has he got for us? Issues at the last round with gear change system. As he went into 4th, he was missing nearly every time. Looks like this time he's bogged on the start line. Well, with such a packed field this weekend, we're straight into our 3rd and final qualifier now. Corsab Engineering team have got the Corsa background, so whatever the issue was is now resolved. Keel has already run 2 9s. Great start line technique for both drivers, but you can see the obvious huge power advantage of Keel's car. He's on another fly, surely another 9. Oh, not quite, a 10.35, but good mile an hour again. Oh no, yet more problems for that little Corsa. Oh, you see Adar waiting patiently. And here comes that man again. Rumoured to be around about 1,000 horsepower on tap in that Mitsubishi. Well, you see, taking it easy on this one, and it looks like Richard well off the power before the top end. Well, new champ against one very experienced run what you brung her, and of course drag racer. It's Guy Chamberlain in the other lane, Chris Sutton closest to us. Well, Guy's car seems to be on a much better run this time. In fact, yeah, there he goes with a 9.59. Andy Nichols' brother, always the encouraging one at the burnout time, and his car a little flat from the start line. In fact, yeah, it looks like he's given up completely there. I'm not sure if he's got mechanical issues, or indeed whether he's got some kind of electrical problem. And there's a few of our drivers who don't seem to have even made it to the track for this event. Sadly, a couple of breakages through dyno runs and some parts that didn't turn up from somewhere in the world meant that we lost a couple of the quick runners. Kelvin and Wendell sadly not here. And then on the very first qualifying session, Richard Batty smashed the record, ran through an incredible 9.43 to take the record from Guy Chamberlain, who's also here, the first time we've seen him out this season. This has been a brilliant qualifying session, and the eliminations coming up promise to be some of the fastest side-by-side runs we've ever seen. So there's our qualifying ladder, and look at that, all the top three deep into the nines. God of the Pod also hosts the Mazda Rotary Owners Club's annual summer show Rotorstock, and quite a few of these were putting in some great runs on the drag strip. The event also includes a handling competition to find the best car both in a straight line and around corners. That is the God of the Pod. With that headwind ever strengthening, it's now time for eliminations, and there's one car that won't be out after breaking yet another drive shaft. So let's take a look at our elimination ladder, and there's some really interesting pairings coming up. On to our first round of eliminations then. Oh dear, I don't think it could be more unfair than this. It's Amy Bradley in a street car, not a race car, up against a new UK record holder, Richard Batty. Amy does the best thing by getting away clean and first. She gets the whole shot, but she has no power to match this Mitsubishi. He's on another flyer. What's he going to run? Wow, look at that, another record of 9.32 at 165 miles an hour. That's insane. We've got to look at that run again. Perfect gear changes, the power coming in exactly where it needs to. An exemplary run there from Mr. Batty. Next up then, Yasir alongside Andy Nichols. Andy Nichols has got so much more experience both in competition and in run what you brung terms. But Yasir's car's already gone very low into the 10s. He's knocking on the door of the 9s, and Andy really hasn't found his form this season at all. Not much in it on the start line in terms of reaction times, but the power in that Civic means it pours away, and he looks like he's trying to make a comeback, but he's not going to do it. It's Yasir who takes the win with a 10.43 to a trailing 10.87. And here we go again. It's another very experienced man up against a newbie. Guy Chamberlain in that silver Civic, so distinctive and familiar to all the front-wheel drive drag fans out there, up against the new car of Chris Sutton. Chris is trying his best, but after that last run of a 9.50, it looks like Guy Chamberlain is going to be back in that region again. Well, he takes the convincing win, and indeed it's a very similar run, a 9.57. Keel Priestman qualified number 3 with a 9.80. This car has been so reliable and so quick all season, alongside Matthew Simonite, who's been reliable and consistent, but he's obviously lacking a few hundred horsepower. He's doing all he can, but it's obviously going to be Keel who takes the win. And he goes through with yet another 9.80. So in round 2, it's going to be Yasir who has to take on the new record holder.
Yeah, well, I've got to try my best. I mean, I know I'm on some rubbish suspension. That's why the car's spinning really bad. Because I had a new set of suspension coming from the States. I sold my old set, and they were supposed to come in time, but they got stuck in customs. So I had to borrow some from a friend. and that's it. I just done whatever it took to run, you know. If he has a problem on the line or misses a gear, then yeah, that would be good for me, as long as I don't miss any gears.
We've picked up a few points because there have been quite a lot of cars drop out. We came with a lot of problems with the car again. We're on the same engine from the previous 2 rounds, and yeah, a few cars have dropped out, so we've got a few more points today. It should hopefully help me keep second place, but I know Richard Batty's close on me and he's having a brilliant day today. So
yeah, we just we bogged on one run and we missed a gear on the second run, but then we've done 2 9.8s now, 146. We were a little bit down on power in a mile an hour, but might be the wind and that turbo not helping us, but we'll just go out for this one, see what happens. I'm going to have to get the jump on him on the lights, so hopefully I'll get a good launch, but we'll just see.
So it's on to our semi-finals, and what excitement this is going to bring with 3 9-second cars all vying for a place in the final. And as we know, this is drag racing. It's not always the favourites or the most powerful cars that go through to the next round. Will there be a surprise upset, I wonder? You see Adar takes on Richard Batty. Not much in it on the start line, but the power starting to come out in Richard Batty's car. Look at it go for it. But it does look like you see us catching up with him there. But another top-end charge is Richard Batty safely through with a 9.7. Just watch that again. Still a tremendous amount of wheel spin on the start line, but what a powerhouse that FTO's turning out to be. Well, 2 proven 9-second runners then coming up to the line. Guy Chamberlain, a lot more experience, but Keil Priestman's won every round he's entered this year. What's this? Hang on a second. There's no lights on the tree. Both drivers have gone before the tree was armed. This is very strange and very unusual. Now, from my recollection, according to the rules, they're both disqualified and nobody will go through to the final. But of course, that decision down to our race director. Well, there's Guy off in search of a few answers. Well, no problems for Richard Batty, though.
Well, we've done really well. We've backed up the time we did this morning. We've just done a 9.3 in the first eliminator, and then we got through against Yazir in the semi. I think the car's still got more on it. We've got problems. We're actually blowing boost pipes off every single run, so we need to get that sorted. There may be more in it. We'll give it another shot in the final. We've got to buy, so nothing to lose. We'll have one more run and see what it'll do.
Worth going over and having a chat?
It's possible. Basically, the car pulled through the beam on the staging brake, so dragged me through. To the letter, we're both disqualified, no points, no prize money, but with the agreement of both of us and Richard, who would be in the final automatically, and the race promoter, there's a possibility it could be rerun.
Well, the race director, in fact, did go by the rule book and there was no rerun. So it's going to be a solo final. So how much preparation between events does Richard have to do on his car?
There's 3 or 4 different things changed on it between Outlaw and now, which is 3 weeks ago. We're changing things all the time and making improvements all the time, new features we're adding on, and so yeah, it's interesting times. We've got a few more things to try as well.
So how much further can this setup go without any more major changes?
Well, I mean, a 9.3 is fairly rapid at 165 mile an hour. We've got massive headwind. The 60 foots at the moment are 1.6s, which is really bad for me. I'm normally running 1.5s, so it could, touch wood, could have an 8-second in it. You never know. Wait and see.
Well, it's not the way anybody would have wanted this event to finish, but with both cars disqualified from the other semi-final, this is going to be a solo effort. All he has to do is break the beams and he's won. Richard has set and reset the record several times today. Yeah, looks like he's led off the top end. There's no point damaging his car now when he's already won. So he cruises through to one of the slower passes he's done in a long time to take the event win. Well done, Richard Batty. Well, it proved to be a very eventful set of eliminations in the front wheel drive drag series today. We've had some amazing runs, and I guess rather fittingly, the new record holder took the win. But the one thing I have to mention is the wind. I haven't got much hair left. Richards is blowing around, all the banners are blowing around. Some incredible runs, the 9.33 in a headwind like this. How fast? You're going to do an 8 very soon, aren't you, Richard?
We'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, that's been the aim of the game all the way along, but yeah, 20-30 mile an hour headwinds today, it's ridiculous, and we're still pulling 165 mile an hour terminals. It's going to happen. Somebody's going to do it this year. It might not be me. We've got cars like Wendell and Guy both running low 9.5s, so it's open for anybody at the moment.
I have to say, I nearly fell out of the tower when I saw that mile an hour. The ET obviously very impressive, but that was a big jump. And just one final thing. A very unusual set of circumstances in the semi-final and the other side.
Yeah, I mean, I'd already done my run and qualified, and I came back and somebody said, "You've won." I'm like, "Well, that was only the semi-final. What happened?" And I went through it all, and they both failed to even stage. They just went without the green light coming on. I don't think the red light had time to come on, and they both got disqualified. So yeah, made an easy run for the final.
Well, there you go, a perfect weekend for this man. All the accolades very well deserved, and a very strange quirk of the drag racing rules. It's very rare that happens. Well, we've got just one round left to go. We'll see you back here for the Jap Show finale.